So mate, do you think I should go back to England or stay in Australia, and why? Yo, what's going on Team 20? I hope you're all super well. Welcome to today's video. It's in the title. I'm not sure what I've actually said in it yet, whether I've given away what's actually happening, but let's just act as if I haven't. So I have a flight booked back to England on the 27th of June, which is 5 days from now. And when I first came back from England about 7 weeks ago, I knew that I was going back 100%. I said to myself, I'm going back. Like, I know I need to be in England for football. And I was thinking in the mindset of, that's where I need to be to progress to a professional level. Now, since I've been here, I've spoken with a lot of people, as you'll see. Well, if you count 4, a lot of people, 4 is a fair few who really care about me and my football. Starting off, we got Pat. You guys all know Pat. He's been in the videos, played at a professional level, and he is someone who cares about me, and I've been training with him, a friend. And not just a friend who's a friend who's been at that level. Then we've also got Clayton, who is my sprint coach. He's trained some of the top athletes in the world. We're talking Brett Emerton, Nicky Carl, if you know Australian players, Jared Hayne, who's an NFL player and gone over and done massive things over there. He's been with Sydney FC, which is an A-League club here. He knows the ins and outs of how clubs really work. And on top of that, he's an amazing sprint coach, and I've learned so much from him. The next person is Dennis. Dennis is someone who I've known since I can't even remember, extremely young, and he's a friend through football, and he just genuinely cares about me as a person and as a player. The things he's done for me throughout the years, it's crazy. So thank you for that, Dennis, and we'll be hearing from him. And then last up is my dad. You guys all know Papa Tweedy. Great guy, great person, and he wants the best for me no matter what. So these are 4 people who have all had an impact on my decision. Now I sat down with them and I asked them a simple question. Do you think I should stay in Australia or go back to England? I didn't say anything else. I wanted them to speak their truth and what they thought I should do. When you ask for someone's opinion, it's opinion, advice, and you have to take from it what you think is going to benefit you. I spent weeks thinking about this. What is really the best option for me and my football going forward? What's going to develop me as a player and help me progress in the future? So let's crack on with the interviews and hear what they have to say. So mate, do you think I should go back to England or stay in Australia, and why?
I think you should stay in Australia until July next year, until, you know, England, Germany, wherever it is, their season begins.
I think you should stay for a little while. I think you need physically to put some time into your speed, your strengths, get in and play against some bigger bodies, and just go back. If you're going to go back, give yourself a year, prepare yourself so you go back at your best.
I've thought about it a lot, and I think you should stay here for a few different reasons. One of them is that really, I think you need a year with your sprint coach to get faster and stronger. By then, you'll have maximum speed, maximum strength, and I think that'll make a huge difference when you go back over.
My personal feeling is you should stay. I actually think that there's a lot of benefits to actually staying here. I think your development will actually improve as a result of playing against the men, which we're seeing in your Wakehurst games.
It's tough. I spoke to my agent about you, and he said it's difficult because you haven't had, you know, real opportunities playing men's football yet. That's difficult, you know, to go over there and say who I am, you know, who you are as a player. They look at your CV, but you haven't played. So it's a good idea for now is to keep working on your game with a sprint coach, etc. And just go for it here. And then 1 year later, we'll see where you are. You're only 20 years old as well. You're so young.
Also, I think you need to play against men, and I think you should be able to say on your CV that you've played against men. I don't think there's much point in going to clubs in Europe saying, oh, I've only ever played against boys, but I'm ready to be signed on a pro contract.
You're certainly being a lot tougher on the ball now. You're not getting pushed off as easy, and I think that there's still a long way to go. There's obviously benefits of going back to the UK. You know, there's a system whereby you can work your way up. But as you did see over there, it's hard to work your way up because there's guys falling back down the ladder from that as well. So there's opportunities, there's a lot more clubs over there. Here, to try to break through the Premier League or to get into A-League, there's 8 or 10 clubs and that's it. You know, you're very restricted in what your options are.
You got a support group here. I think you're in a good spot for just consolidating your money as well. You're not going to be spending a fortune out there. I think you get the benefits of really getting your physicality right, because I believe you've got a lot of talent, you've got a great footy IQ, but physically we need to match it at that next level, and really that next level in international level is a very turned out good athlete, and you have the capabilities of being that, but we need to put a good lot of time in to get that for you.
The other day at training, I said to you, I think you have the potential to be a professional player. Absolutely true. It's just, it's timing as well. Not everyone's a professional like myself at 17 years old, and you're burnt out by 25, 26, which we see all the time in football, by the way. Not everyone makes it to the elite level from 17 and just keeps going. You have time and just keep working at your game, every day. Your training as a professional would as well. Here in Australia, that's the thing. You're doing all this extra work, and with your club, that's professional training. It's just not with a team professional at the moment. That's fine.
What you need is regular game time. You need proper game time so that you're more polished and ready to go. And I think if you went back now, you'd still be rusty over there. You wouldn't be ready. I think you need to get ready properly.
Look, I actually think that your process at the moment is actually working really well. I think the fact that you're allowing yourself to physically develop, to get your training program right. We know that your gym work wasn't spot on before. Now you're getting a much better, specific to what you need for soccer. Clayton's getting that in the right place. We're starting to see the changes in your speed already. There's the occasional game where you're actually getting around a guy a little bit quicker, and that was always for you. We can't make you taller. We can only make you faster or stronger on the ball. So we have to maximise what your abilities are. We can't change the unchangeable.
What I've seen with you have all the leg speed in the world. You're good at picking things up. There's a lot of potential to you, and I think I don't think you've had enough instructions on the running and the movements and the agility side of everything. And I think now that you're picking all that up, I can see from the last months working with you, your speed has improved. I think getting your weight and your strength and power work to match with your others is another big thing for you. So when you put those two together, you're going to be a totally different athlete. You're going to be a totally stronger, faster, more exciting sort of athlete mixed with your talent. So I think it's an exciting time for you, and I think it's there for you. I think you just need a little bit of, you've been overseas, you've seen what's needed over there, you've come back, you've had experience, been the best thing you've ever done, and now you can sort of go, right, I know what I need and the tools I need, I'll get them in order, and then you should be going back over. Or look for your pathways through here as well. A-League's not a bad pathway. Move your way through that as well. So yeah, but that's you. You've got to know that one.
You focusing on those things, being able to go back and still get good game time, play the game that you want to play, develop those skills, and physically will get you much better prepared when you get over to the UK.
So that's what everyone had to say. The general thought is for me to stay in Australia for another year, which is what I've decided to do. Now, whether that's another year or another 6 months is undecided. I don't know the opportunities that will come in the next week, 6 months, years. Now, for those of you who know Gary Vee, if you don't, please look him up. Absolutely amazing guy. I had the pleasure to actually meet him once. There was something he posted the other day, and it said, take 1 step backwards to go 2 steps forwards. In there he says, swallow your pride, have the humility to take that step backwards regardless of what anyone thinks of you in order to take those 2 steps forward in the future. A lot of people in this world have a lack of patience and a lack of focus on their long-term goals. We always look at things in short term, so we look at short-term gains. In life, if you play the long game, you will win. So for me, I know some people might think this is the wrong decision and I'm going about finding this professional contract the wrong way. But I'm willing to take that step back to work on my game, improve myself physically, which is an issue we all know, in order to become a better player and in the future achieve my goal of becoming a professional footballer. This is something I haven't touched on with any of you guys, but I have contacts here in Australia which can help me 100%. In saying that, I just received a text back from somebody. I'm not going to say any names nor the names of any clubs because we saw what happened last time when I said I was trialling at Whitehawk and that cost me an opportunity at their club. They said they didn't want me because I was putting stuff on YouTube. But I know people, and I know people who have contacts here in Australia in the A-League, which is the highest level of Australian football. I was part of the Sydney FC Youth League squad as a reserve player and the Western Sydney Wanderers Youth League squad as a reserve player. I think that was 3 years ago and 2 years ago. Through that time, I was able to develop some connections, and it will be interesting to see what happens in the future. So don't think I'm coming to Australia just to muck around and have a kickabout. This is also something I weighed up in my mind. There is opportunity for me to sign a pro contract here in Australia. So I don't know what's going to happen with any of those clubs, and I'm not going to go to them saying I want to sign a pro contract. The goal really is to be part of that environment and see if I can train with them. So we'll see what happens. But my decision is to stay in Australia. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to waste a second here. I want to be working hard as much as possible. My future for the rest of this year, I'll discuss it in future videos, which clubs I'm looking to play for, etc. But I want to keep this video to almost an announcement and insight as to why I've decided to stay here. So I hope that cleared things up. Like I said, I've decided to have humility, or is it take humility? I don't know how to quite say that. And not be scared or worried about what other people are thinking of my decision. It's difficult because I can't tell you guys every single thing, and people will think differently and have different opinions on what I should be doing. But just know, this is my decision. I thought about this for at least 5 weeks, and I think it's the best one going forward. There's doors that would be closed if I did go back to England, and if I stay in Australia, there's doors that might be closed over there as well. So I'm excited. We'll see what it brings, but that's my decision, and I hope that you guys can respect it. So anyway, Team Tweedy, I'm signing out. Make sure you guys leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're around here, join the journey, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.